Hello, and welcome to the Cat Cast. Here, as always, is Cat Kennison to bring you a podcast. Great to be here today with everybody. I'm glad to be here. Did a podcast yesterday. It was a sports podcast, so if you were on and you got to see that, it was a live podcast. We did the Eagles Buffalo Bills game, and it was very exciting until the end. So, you can check that out if you want. If you didn't watch the game and you want to see the cat do a cat cast, with and calling a game, you can check that out. And we will be doing more of those for sure because they are exciting and fun to do. So it was only the second half that I did, but you can scroll through it and check it out and see what you think about it. My friend, one of my friends from Germany, hung out with me during the cast. He was unable to see the game, so I did my best to verbalize it to him. And other people I'm sure watched it along with me, but maybe not. I don't know. But it was still fun to do. So we're going to be doing those sometimes. They will count as a cast. So that was yesterday's cast. We didn't have our normal podcast since it was a sports cast, but still, if you're interested in seeing that, you can check it out. It's up there. Anyways, we've got things to talk about today on the CatCast that will fill our 30 without an issue. And I'm happy to have you all here with me today to do that. I woke up to a snowstorm today, but I still went out and did my Callahan's, had chicken strips today, lentil soup, and iced tea. Because I just don't feel like myself if I don't get out and do my normal lunch routine. So that was good today. We don't have a cat up with us today. I tried to get Callie up here. I tried to get Kitty, and they just did not want to stay. So we're doing this just with the cat today. Apologies that we don't have a sidekick there. You never know. Maybe one will pop up here. They did have the zoomies earlier, and they were running all around, but they have seemed to calm down since then. So we won't have, hopefully, bunches of noise in the background from the studio here. Anyways, we've got things we want to talk about today that we are going to cover. So we're going to cover cat cult. All right, cat cult. We're going to cover Sling Disney today. We're going to cover helping friends, letter writing. We're covering letter writing. We're going to talk about the new year. We're going to talk about the year in review, the past year. And we're going to work on conversation skills with CB users as well on here because we've been having some issues with that. And so we want to definitely cover that as well. So we'll start right at the top with Cat Cult. Cat Cult, anybody can be a part of it, okay? I'm starting Cat Cult, and it is basically if you love cats. And what do you need to be in Cat Cult? Pretty simple. A cat. You just have to have a cat to be a part of Cat Cult. And it doesn't even have to be your cat. It could be an outside feral cat. It could be your neighbor's cat. It could be, your friend's cat. As long as you got a cat, we're going to count it. I mean, it doesn't even have to be yours, okay? If you see a cat, you can be a member of Cat Cult. What is Cat Cult, Cat? I don't know yet. I am forming Cat Cult at this time, and so I really have not established what I want my cult to be about, except that it is based around cats. Yep, that is the main factor of Cat Cult. That's why it is singular, just cat and then cult. I want it to be all about cat and cultism. What's cultism? Well, it's got a bad rap. A lot of cults do. But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's like a club. A cult is like a club where you're into that club more than anything in the world. Like that club is your life. It's everything to you. Okay? That's a difference. Right? You already into it? Because I'm telling you, once you're a member, it's like nothing ever, you never want to leave. And you're not allowed to. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It goes back to Adam Sandler back in the day, and he wanted his friend to join this cult, and his friend's like, "Well, what kind of cult is it? And he's like, it's just a cult. It's ready, run of the day cult. Okay, they'll give you a haircut, they'll give you a robe, and you'll be part. You'll have a community of people. And he's like, well, I do need a haircut. It's not going to be one of those weird haircuts, though, is it? Hey, you need a haircut. They're going to cut your hair. You're going in, saving $10. What is there to think about? Just do it. I love that skit. That was a great skit, man. So, yeah, we don't give you a haircut in here. We don't care about your hair. We just care that you have a cat. That is necessary. That is our doctrine. Cats. Okay, I will establish the doctrine of cats for Cat Cult. All right? Now, you must love cats. You must always treat them like they are royalty and above you at all times. The cat is the master. You are just the caregiver, okay? In the cat cult. Yes, you care for the cat. Now, the cat can't walk on you, though, unless you want it to, because you need it to massage your back or something. I don't know much. I'll have to figure out more stuff I want to put into cat cult doctrine. At this point, I really don't know. I'm just inventing it right now as we go. So, no, this is real stuff. I'm not inventing it. This has been around for centuries and decades and millions of years. Yes, it is cat cult. We're going to make up t-shirts for sure, and we're going to definitely get us a logo, and we'll see what cat cult can do. But you're going to want to be a powder cat cult. The sooner you get in, the better. It's like a pyramid scam. You got to get in early, and then you got some power. Get up at the top, people below you. Yeah, cat cult. Join the cat cult. Does it cost anything to join cat cult? Not at this time. At this time, membership is free. All you have to do is swear allegiance to cat. And then you're in. And you have to have a cat. All right, don't forget about having a cat. That's very crucial. And it's no big deal. You just go get one at the shelter. They're usually $10. Get that cat. Take care of that cat. Love that cat. And remember, that cat is the boss. Okay? You just care for the cat. It is the owner. You are not the owner. All right, and if you understand that, you understand Cat Club. A cat club or cat cult? Oh, whatever. My friend made me think about that the other day. You could be a cult leader. No, I'm not a cult leader. No, not at all. I have a following, but not that kind of following. Just, just friends. That's all it is. But it is fun to have it. Definitely. All right, let's move forward. Sling Disney. All right, Sling Disney. So my friend yesterday was arguing with me about Sling and Disney, and they had a lawsuit going on, or they still do actually. Okay, so here is the lawsuit as the lowdown as I'm going to give it to you. Okay, Sling is a service provider. They provide a service. Disney has the content that Sling provides. They made a contract up that they could, Sling could distribute or rent the content from Disney and allow subscribers to view said content, okay? In the contract, there is no description about doing short contracts by a day instead of a month. It's not in the contract. But when when Sling started doing Day Pass for $5 instead of a $40 monthly subscription, Disney wanted to sue and say, we didn't say you could do that. And Sling comes back and says, well, you didn't say we couldn't either, which is very important in a document. Just because someone doesn't say you can do it, if it doesn't say you can't do it, that's a sticking point, big time. And generally, whoever writes up the document is responsible for putting that language in. So if Disney wrote up this contract and did not think to prevent a day pass, they're not going to win this lawsuit. If Sling made the lawsuit, wrote the contract, then it's a little bit more in iffy waters about whether this will hold up in court. But they always go on the side of the company, usually that did not write the contract, versus the one that did. So if Disney wrote it and didn't think to specify, they're probably going to lose. Now, my friend told me the other day that Disney did put that in the contract, and I just took his word for it. But then today I looked it up and found out they did not. I don't know who wrote the contract, but it's not in there. Disney tried to put an injunction until this lawsuit gets to court to stop Sling from allowing the day pass. The judge blocked it and said, no, you don't have it in the contract. We're not going to put an injunction on it until, you have to wait. You have to get your thing heard, and then maybe it will be reversed. But at this time, we're not injuncting it. So that side's on the side of Sling, that they're okay to do it. This goes into court then, and you know how legislation, lawsuits take months to years. So this will continue. My factor is I don't want Sling to back down on this. I like Day Pass, and I also want them to fight for individual channel rights where we can start buying channels individually and not be forced to buy a package. My friend compares it to you going to McDonald's and asking for a hamburger but not wanting the bun or the pickle or the condiments on it, just wanting the burger patty. And I say, well, I didn't like that example, so I took it more to, how about we go to a clothing store then, where you are just buying one item, but they're forcing you to get shoes and pants, and all you wanted was a top. There is a better example. The channels need to be separated out. You don't need them in a group. It's not like a burger where you want buns and ketchup, mustard, onions, pickle. I want to just pay for that channel, you know. And I think I should be able to. I don't think the package is fair, and I think it's a monopoly. They force you to carry all their channels, even though you just want one of them. And they force you to provide them to all the customers as well, not a la carte, but in a package. And that is force you to pay for those other channels you don't want, to subsidize them. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in subsidizing stuff. That's just who I am. And I believe they need to make it on their own. If they can't, then they will fail. Why do you think cable subscriptions have gotten so much? Because we're subsidizing channels nobody watches. That's why. So I think I'm right about this. We will find out what happens in the law. But I think Sling's going to win. And I'm to the point where I'm so sick of this garbage. I think everybody should just stop subscribing to stuff at this point and say, you know, we're not going to subscribe until you really go a la carte with this stuff. Because everything, I'm getting sick of cable satellite. My friend just says, well, don't get it anymore. I'm like, well, I like the DVR, and they won't let you DVR without it. If somebody invents a way to DVR, then I will move away from it. And I want the streaming, though. The lips got to line up. I can't have issues with it doing its little arrow turning and all that garbage. It's ridiculous. I hate it. I don't think it's a better way to broadcast. I think it's a way for them to force you to watch commercials. That's why streaming came about. That's why they went away from downloading, because then you could just skip past the commercials. Streaming is to prevent that. So that's where I'm at with the Sling Disney thing. I don't like it, and I think I'm right about my argument, but I won't say that I won because, you know, my friend will say that, you know, you just say you win. You don't really have anything to say you won, but like I said, the injunction was put on, and I know the way the law works. But in months and years, if I am led to be right, I can say to my friend, I told you so! Yeah! I told you! I look forward to it, too. Or he'll get to say, I told you, cat! Yeah! Oh, I'm pumped up right there. Okay. I think I'm right. If they didn't specify it, they're going to lose. And I'm to the point where I'm like, you know what? We just won't carry your stuff anymore then. Just dump it. Say, okay, we're done with you then, Disney. Dump ESPN. Dump every channel they own. Dump ABC. Be like, we're done with it. I want people to start standing up to these providers and say, you know, we don't want your crap then. If you're going to do this crap, we're done with it. You know? Everybody band together, sign a petition, and say, we're not subscribing to your crap anymore. Until you make it so we can pick and choose. I love this idea. I hope you do too. I don't want to be forced to buy crap anymore. I don't. You know why people get these streaming services? They can add it for a month, watch all the good program, cancel it, add another service for a month, watch all the good stuff, cancel it, go to another service for a month, watch all the good stuff, cancel it. I don't understand how they're making more money this way. But I'm not doing it. I'm not getting these streaming services. I'm about ready to kick my satellite off. I don't watch it that much, to tell you the truth, besides one channel. If I can figure out how to get that one channel, I guess I won't worry about it anymore. You know, that's where I'm at this point. All right, let's move forward. How we doing? We're doing all the can time. Helping friends. I've been really hard working on helping friends lately. So I've wrote some letters big time, and I spent some time writing a letter today. And another friend wrote a letter too for a friend. And after we put time into writing these letters, the person seems like they're like it was a waste of time, like they don't like our letters, even though we're willing to edit them, or they can edit them, do whatever they want. But it was very disappointing to put all that effort in just to have the person say it's worthless, you know, and not care. So the issue actually has to do with toxic bosses and how they can create a toxic work environment. And I can understand my friend just wanting to move on. What I can't understand is him wanting to keep it quiet and allow this toxic environment to continue for new employees. And I relate it to sexual harassment. If a person gets sexually harassed and they just keep it to themselves and move on, then the next everybody after that gets sexually harassed, I'm going to blame you because you could have brought it up and stopped it. And I'm going to say the same thing about this psychological abuse. I don't care if you want to quit. You need to make this clear what this person is doing. They're hurting other people too, not just you. I understand only caring about yourself. But come on now, you know. Man up, okay? Man up. You should not have trouble getting a new job because you talked about your last company have a toxic environment and you had to, let people know about it. I would equate that to being then like someone lets you go and they're not going to hire you because you're going to let them know about sexual harassment if it takes place. If that's an issue, we're going to have to go to law again here. This is going to become a big old thing. Because let me tell you right now, this ain't going to stand. Men can be psychologically abused way more than sexually harassed. So right now I'm seeing a double standard where sexual harassment is taken very seriously, but psychological abuse is not. And I have a big issue with that. I also have a big issue with everyone that's dark-skinned or from another country saying it's racism when somebody says something about them. If they do that from now on, I'm going to say, you're the racist. You brought up racism because I'm a different skin, apparently. So you're accusing me of racist. I think you're the racist because you just noticed I had different skin. I never brought it up. You did. I don't know how you fight that when I would say that. How would you fight that? I didn't bring up your skin. You just brought up racism. You just did. Apparently, you're pointing to my skin, saying because I'm a different race from you that I'm racist. So that would make me think you are the racist person. I did not point to race. I pointed to the psychological abuse that you're causing. I don't point to sex either when I'm talking to someone. I don't care what sex you are, whether it's female or male. I think you should be treated the same way. And same thing with this. The psychological abuse is very detrimental and needs to end. And I guess they're going to have to start doing psychological abuse networking and stuff instead of just sexual harassment conferences. We need psychological abuse conferences as well. We're going to have to start having a meeting once a year about this and say, when you're an a-hole to your employees, when you treat them awful like they're nobodies, it's very hurtful to them and can cause psychological issues. Same thing as when sexual harassment, when you advance on somebody that doesn't want it. Your psychological abuse is also unwanted and uncalled for. And I don't want him sick of it. And I'm not going to have somebody use it against me And I'm not going to have. I think this needs to be taken really serious at this point. This is bullying. What this person is doing is a bully. I guess we need to say it's bullying. And this person needs to, they take bullying really seriously in school. How come they're not taking it seriously at the work, at the job? This person is a bully. And my friend just doesn't care about this person being a bully to anybody after him. He just wants, And I'm like, well, this should stop. This should stop right now. If those girls that were a part of the sex trafficking spoke up when it was going on, instead of waiting 30 years, all the people that were abused after them would not have been abused. But instead, they just worried about themselves, kept it quiet, and then 30 years later, they come out about it now. I don't like you if you do that. You should just kept your mouth shut. If you don't do it at the time, you're a weak person. And doing it 30 years later makes you look like a joke of a person. I'm sorry to tell you. So if you get sexually harassed and you're ashamed about it or whatever, and you keep it secret for the rest of your life then. I believe you need to bring it up right when it happens. This crap has to stop bringing it up 30 years later. I don't want to hear it 30 years too late. So there are how many more victims after you? And I'm supposed to feel sorry for you? How about all the victims after you? No. Done with that. Letter writing. I've been writing many letters to help people. I've wrote 4 letters recently. I believe 3 were very good letters and effective letters, and I believe one of them was worthless to do it, but it still felt good writing it. And I can write a good letter. Now, I'm not as good as one of my friends, because that person wrote a letter today, and it was better than mine. But it was really good. And but I'm glad that person was trying too. So letter writing is important and does make a difference. Whistleblower status is a real thing. You are protected. It's not just by the government, but whether people want to believe that or not is their business. What I found interesting is the person that complains the most about somebody telling them how to do their job was then telling us about the law that they didn't know anything about. And I thought, isn't that interesting? They're doing the same thing they accuse other people of doing. They don't know what they're talking about, but they act like they do. You got to look at yourself in the mirror when you're doing that. All right? The new year. I am looking very forward to the new year. I have New Year's resolutions. I'm not going to reveal yet, but I have them. I definitely believe in New Year's resolutions. I think everybody should do New Year's resolution. Shouldn't do a weight one, though. It never happens. Don't do the weight one. You really should do things that have to do with your mental or emotional well-being. And that's what I focus on, and that's what I recommend people focusing on, things that you can actually achieve. Weight doesn't usually happen, so don't make that goal. Just don't. If it happens, great. But to make that as a New Year's resolution, I don't like it, because you never achieve it. Then it makes you resent New Year's resolutions, which I believe are a good thing, and I don't want you to do that. So that's why I say let's not make a resolution you can't keep. Make sure it's a goal you can keep. That's the really important thing about a New Year's resolution. Year in review. All right, year in review. This year has been amazing. I can't love it enough. Everybody knows we had Donald Trump get elected. He has gone around the world to get investment in our country, over $20 trillion. That's his first year. We may not get, I can't see we're going to get that the next 3 years, but still, $20 trillion. In Biden's 4 years, he got $1.5 trillion. 1.5, we got 20. So that's big. All right. Also, what did we have happen? We are having that great, beautiful bill passed. That means no taxes on overtime, no taxes on tips, okay, up to $25,000 on the tips, I believe. The overtime's a big thing as well, because sometimes that would bump people up into higher tax brackets, and even though they're making time and a half, they didn't make that much more money. It was a joke. So they have fixed that now by removing taxes on overtime. I wish they could do that on people that had secondary jobs as well. Because when you're working a secondary job, that's kind of overtime if you're working a 40-hour job and then another job. But they haven't figured out a way to do that, and I don't know how to do that either. But that would be a nice benefit as well. If you have a secondary job, you don't get charged taxes on it. Would that be awesome? People would work harder. All right, what else can we talk? What else were we going to talk about? Year in review. Um, there were some good movies, definitely. Superman was good. Um, most of the stuff I'm thinking about is political, and I wanted to keep it away from politics. But that's all I have really is all the good stuff. We've made the border secure. We're getting out the illegals that are leeching off us. We're getting out the fraud. I mean, Minnesota's just laced with it. Look at this ridiculousness. Today, they're all talking about the fraud. It's out of control fraud all over there with these daycare centers. They don't have any people in them. They're locked. The windows are covered so you can't see in. Nobody attends them. And it was all just fraud and waste. And nobody's picking on the Somali people. All we did was say those people did it. We're not accusing all the people. We're accusing the ones that did it of it. And that's not racism, okay? That's just pointing out that they did, okay? I don't hate all Somalis, okay? I just dislike the ones that were part of this fraud, all right? And the reason Trump says the things he says is because of, if you look at Somalia, that is really a corrupt country, not a good place. So he's not necessarily talking about the people of Somalia. He's talking about the leadership and the way it's ran and the way all this crap went down. He's not talking about good Somalis. And but everybody wants to sway his words and make it like, oh, he's racist, and he's not. He's not. He's talking about a nationality of people that aren't lifting themselves up and out, and it's because of corruption, and they just laziness probably. That's all I can think about. We're running out of time. We have our last subject. I covered them all good here. I mean, I timed this stuff pretty good. We want to work on conversations with our users in the CB app. So some of the users have conversation skills that they need to work on. You don't want to just come in and laugh or make a statement that nobody can comment off of. You need to actually interact with people and what they're saying, or bring up just what's going on in your life. If there's nothing going on, then wait for other people to comment and talk about what they're talking about. But just keying up to laugh or keying up to say stuff that nobody can comment to doesn't make for conversation. Also, being a downer is not going to work on our channel because we are about positivity. So I don't want any suicide talk, and I don't. After I said no more of that, then people move to, well, I hate this, or I'm down about this, or this or this, and I'm like, no. We're not going to just be down, okay? And most of these people, we have already heard this over and over and over and over and over, so we know. So at this point, we're like, either move on from that, or we're going to have to not have you talk, because we can't be brought down by your downer language too. And they don't seem to understand that the more they're talking about this downer stuff, they're bringing themselves down, but us as well, because we don't want to hear it. And so we're going to stop that. And I'm warning everybody here on this so they can hear it now, and I don't have to do it on the app and embarrass them. So that's why I hope you listen to this, if any of you are people that are doing that, all right? We are going to have good conversations. We're not going to just key up. We don't need to key up and say hi to everybody 20 times a day. You just need to say it once. If somebody's not talking in the channel and you come in and you just want to talk to that person, I advise against it. Because lots of times there's people just sitting in there listening and they don't want to key up and talk. But then they have to because you shouted at them and they feel like they have to, and then they respond. And then it turns into a whole big conversation with you, and they just wanted to sit there and listen. So I don't want you, I want you interacting with the people that are already talking. It's kind of a slam when somebody is talking, and instead of talking to that person, you go and yell to somebody else that's not even talking. Like you don't want to talk to the person that's talking. So that needs to end as well. I don't know how many times nobody's person's not talking, somebody comes in, they yell for that person, they don't respond, then they think the person's mad at them or something. No, the person doesn't have their phone by them, or they're busy and they can't respond, and then by the time they do get unbusy, they've forgotten that you yelled at them, and so they haven't responded. That's the reason. So that's why I say don't just yell at people. If you hear them talking, you know they're in the room and they're listening. If you just see them in the room, it doesn't mean they're listening or right there. Until you hear them, assume they're not there, okay? And then once you hear them talking, then engage with them. It's very simple. We're going to end just the keying up constantly to talk to people that don't want to talk. Just because you have to engage with whoever is talking. All right? All right. I wanted to do it here so I could be calm about it, and I think I was pretty good. If anyone has questions, you can always talk to me privately if you know how to. If you can message me or text me, or on the channel, ask to take me to a private room. We'll go to a private room and talk about it. Anybody needs has issues, questions. All right? I want to nip this in the butt, and I don't want to embarrass people. All right? But we will get this under control, because it's bothering other users. And I'm not going to have that continue. Everybody wants to talk and have conversations, but we're not going to just have pointless gibberish. On the app, if there's nothing to talk about, silence is okay. You don't just talk to talk. I can, but that's just because I'm trying to fill the channel with something. But it is my channel. But I don't want everybody else just filling it for nothing, you know? I want you to talk, but I don't want it to just start to be annoying. All right? And I know it's probably tricky to figure even out what that is, so I'm just going to be in there, and if it starts to get where it's an issue, I'll say, let's move along. Maybe that'll be code word. I'll find something. All right? This has been the Catcast. This is Cat Kennison. I love you guys coming here. This is a great place to be. I love talking to you. This was a good Catcast. A little bit over time. I'm sorry about that, but I wanted to make sure I got everything out. And I know I speak fast at the end. All right. We'll do another Catcast tomorrow, mañana. Okay? Sound good, everybody? All right. Bye now.